Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a quick walkthrough on the package pbPlots, which is an interactive plotting language available in multiple languages, but we're going to be focused on C and some of the issues that I saw while trying to use the package. So let's get right into it. Here you can see I have the GitHub open for the pbPlots library. This repository is said to be maintained, and I found that that's relatively true. I just don't think that it's relatively documented. And today we're just going to be focused on plotting within C. I had a homework assignment where I was asked to plot runtimes of various algorithms. So I just decided, hey, let's try it out in PBC or pbPlots, and let's kind of see how it goes. But you're going to see as I get through this, we're going to highlight a couple issues with the state of modern LLMs. So I'm actually connected to, as a note, I'm also connected to my laptop because that's where I did the homework, and it's just too much to bring over, everything that I saw. So here is my script. It's just a parallelized version of matrix multiplication, a naive version, so non-optimized. But you can see here at the bottom, so we're essentially going to be calling our matrix multiplication on various matrix sizes. Here, 250, 500, 750, 1,000, 2,000. Getting our runtime, and that is going to be used as our plot. Here, I just want to show you the completed working code to start. So the completed working code is essentially you're going to be creating an RGBA, and whatever this says, image reference bitmap. Then you're going to create a string reference. If you're using C, one thing that you have to note, let me just make this bigger. One thing you have to note is you need to be using string literals, so you need to be using capital letter L before your quotation marks, or else it's all going to break. And here you can see we can configure our plot settings, so get default plot settings, and using our settings variable, we can adjust the width of our X dimension, title length, labels, boundaries, and so forth. Here you can see we set the X minimum to 0 so that we're starting our value on 0, and X maximum to be the last, like the length of our last matrix multiplication size. And here you can see where we're plotting the series, okay? One call out that I want to show you inside the completed version that I don't think is very well documented in the GitHub or on Stack Overflow. If you choose linear interpolation to be false, so if let's say you wanted to have a scatter plot, you need to be using your point type variables. If you set this to be true, you're going to be wanting to uncomment these lines. Let me see if this works. Cool. Okay. You're going to want to be uncommenting these lines and be using your line type directives. So you're going to see as I pull up ChatGPT and other LLMs that they consistently mix this up to cause a bunch of headaches, which prompted me to make this video because LLMs are just not better than humans at the moment at figuring out stupid issues as such. So just keep that in mind. If you're going to be wanting to making a scatter plot, false, use your point types. If you're going to be wanting to make a line chart, true, and use line type. And here you can see, some of the options there in the color settings. Here you can see to generate the plot, we're going to be using this Boolean type to essentially say true or false, and then if success, we can convert the image to a PNG. We can write it out to a file into this directory, the current working directory, and then we're going to just essentially do our freeze. We're going to free our byte array, free allocations, and free any dynamically allocated memory variables. So now that we've kind of gone through the completed version, I just want to show you some of the stuff that I was going through with ChatGPT and some of the AIs. Really quick, I think one of the main issues that I'm seeing with this is that the cutoff date is too far in the past. For ChatGPT 4, I'm just looking at the OpenAI community developers tab. It's saying that the cutoff is January 2022, which is obviously pretty late. Right now we're on March 2025. Um, you can see on Claude that the cutoff date is April 2024, and those are pretty uh, noticeable when you read the responses. So just going into the responses. So now that we see kind of what the true response is supposed to be, because I'm not sure that this GitHub does a great job, let's just take a look at one of our ChatGPT examples. So apologies, I'm not signed into ChatGPT at the moment. Um, but I already had just a couple minutes ago generated this example. So let's just do a one-shot prompt here with ChatGPT. Generate an example plotting a line chart in C using pbPlots. So, goes through the steps, install pbPlots. You're going to need these two files. These are actually already wrong. This code is already wrong right here based off the top. If you remember how I included pbPlots and support plots, I'll just pull it up really quickly. We're using .header files, not .hpp. I'm not really sure what that is, but that's wrong. You can see it starts to do what you need to do, but you can see here it's not defining this as a Boolean type, a success or non-success. Line series is not anymore, is not known anymore. It's now going to be under settings, I believe. One sec, I just want to make sure you guys get the right information. It'll be under settings or series. It won't be under line series. So that's depreciated by now. So essentially ChatGPT has hallucinated all of this code, or it's depreciated by this point. And you can end up going through a lot of headache for that. I mean, yeah, so another thing with GCC, if you're going to compile with GCC, you need to compile both header files at the same time that you're going to be compiling your source file. So even the compilation code is wrong. Everything about this code is completely wrong. But let's jump over to Claude, and this is Claude 3.7 Sonnet, the non-thinking version, and let's see if we could one-shot it. So same prompt, generate example plotting a line chart in C using pbPlots. Sonnet does a lot of things right, and I think partially it's because I had been going through the process with Sonnet. For the most part, I ended up actually cracking the code through Perplexity and then reading the GitHubs, but it just goes to really show you that the cutoff date of the model really does matter, and the model choice that you're using matters. So make sure that you're taking that into consideration, especially when you're choosing a package like pbPlots that I would say is not very widely used and isn't very flexible as well. I mean, pbPlots only has capability to do line and scatter, and I think bar as well. I didn't play around with that, but I definitely wouldn't. And the majority of the information that you're going to be wanting to use is going to be here. All of your configuration options. It's not hard to get the plot to show up. It's hard to actually get it to show what you want to show. So like, for example, if I go back into mine, to get your Y label to show, ChatGPT would end up, or most of the AIs end up adding a Y label, but they don't add this term Y label length, WCS length, and drag your assigned settings to Y label. This is just a line that is absolutely necessary for the Y label to show up. Without this line, the plot will not show up. Okay, let's be very clear about that. That will not work. And then the last thing that these AI models just don't seem to understand, and it's a little bit on the role of the programmer to understand the frameworks that you're using and kind of the requirements of it. Initially, when I had done this code, when I wrote the code, I wrote this matrix size array to be an integer array. So because they're integer numbers, 250, 500, 750. When you're using an integer array with pbPlots, nothing will show up. So just like one more note that is not documented anywhere in any documentation or Stack Overflow. Your arrays are going to need to be in double precision or floating point precision uh, for pbPlots to essentially work. Um, and that's basically going to be it. I really just wanted to showcase some of the pitfalls about working with LLMs and kind of when you need to be able to go back and really read the error stack about like where your errors are coming from, what's going on in the documentation, how is the documentation developed, and really just kind of getting scrappy in terms of like, like let's figure this out. Like let's not let the AI or keep prompting the AI until you run out of queries for the day. Just figuring this stuff out. Um, and there's just a couple things, obviously, using double precision as your array type. Um, this is the new format as of March 2025, almost April 2025. Using setting the labels need to be done a certain way. Essentially, if you're not picking up what I'm putting down, everything needs to be set this way. This on the screen is the correct way, and if you're going to be using ChatGPT, ask it to query off of this. And if you're going to be using Claude, just be very, very aware that Claude is going to make mistakes about this. Here you can see X label length. I'm not sure that this function string length, find the length, is kosher for our pbPlots example, because if you see here, I have pbPlots example .2. They're all going to be using this WCS lang function, and just based on what I've seen working with this package over the past day, uh, that's going to be an issue. Any minor change to any of these settings is going to cause a major issue, and I just want to make sure that you guys are well aware of that when going into the pbPlots uh, library, because I think the last video that was posted on it was 5 years ago. So, I get a little bit of content out of it, out of my struggle, and the community grows a little bit. So hopefully nobody has to go through my struggle again, and hopefully I can find a better package to use, because this is a little bit limiting. But I wanted to at least show kind of like what's going on with LLMs, the state of LLMs, and which ones that you choose, and hopefully try to make somebody else's life a little bit easier. And with that, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.